join back in for part 2. Dante trying to throw me off there, but it's not going to work today.
Except for it changed what you were going to say, so I count that as a win.
He had to interrupt. But the group awoke, had sort of gathered together, had some rest, and awoke the next morning and have separated to go about their business. Volu and Eleni heading down, first of all, trying to spot themselves a smithy, maybe to gather some armor, before attempting to find the house that they had located previously. They believe they found it and have managed to convince and bribe their way inside. And in the meantime, Dante and Eechie have been making their way up towards the Zenith ward. And that is where we will join in now. What, you and a whiteboard is a bad idea, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so joining in with Eechie and Dante as you pull up, you make your way very easily with Dante's previous stealth, moving through back alleys and only taking main streets when it's absolutely necessary, before arriving up to the gate of the House Glass estate. The attendant at the gate is different. However, you would notice the gates are already opening upon seeing one of their own vehicles.
You just drive straight in there.
Well, as you pull up, one of them will sort of step out and say, the masters are not in today. Neither Thaddeus nor his sister are around. Are you bringing the...
We're swapping cars. We're bringing this one back, and then now you're having to bring out the winning car.
I mean, you're welcome to check, but I know Master Thaddeus has been working on the car, but I do not know what its state right now. But I will make a note for him to head on through. Go on ahead. You are able to move through. And you know your way, so you make your way, you drive your way around. As you arrive to the workshop, it's closed, but you can. It's not like locked and bolted because you know, as much as he doesn't want people peeking, he trusts the security.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. You guys, are you leaving the other vehicle just outside the?
Well, just leave it outside the where we were about to walk in, because if we can't drive the other thing, we might as well drive this one back out.
Okay. And you are able to make your way in. As you head in, it is dark in here. You will be, yeah. Are you either do you either of you have dark vision actually?
Nope. I'm a human.
I don't think Arundon do. No.
So you would remember from previous times that you've been in here, there are usually like torches and lanterns along the wall, so you could very easily light a few. And making your way through, you can see that there's different. Again, his workshop is in different states of. He's got different machines and things at different states of repair. And at the back, you can see that currently the vehicle is there and it still seems to have all its parts, but it is stripped of all the outer armor. Where you took most of the damage, and you can see that on the side they're sort of hammering out and straightening the armor again. You can see that there are a few that are done and are like drying, having been repainted and resealed. But yes, it's basically functioning, just no armor.
So that means it's faster, because that was the thing that slowed it down.
No, technically the thing that slows it down, because you already dropped all the weight and got to max speed. The 45 you were doing is like the max output.
Yeah, we could have made it more armored, but sacrifice speed, basically.
Yes. But basically, the normal, if you imagine even the cockpit, so the normal cover you get there, it's almost like shell and netting, metal netting, rather than a full plate of metal. Does that make sense? So you fully can take it if you wish.
Dante just looks over to Eechie and goes, "So,
Yes.
cool." Dante goes into the goes to like he'll call out. He'll just be like, "Is anybody here?
It
Robots, droids."
It echoes out. Nothing. No response.
Neither of us can see magic or anything.
No. Well, I mean, I think you can, but not like just off the bat.
Well, yeah, no, but Ichi, can you see magic?
I'll cast see invisibility.
Yeah, there's no signs of any orbs or scrying or any divination in the area.
Can I just say, whenever we speak to Builder Man, they need to work on their security.
Dante, we're
You-
not just going to take this without alerting someone. We
You
are
just
currently.
you just said.
I said yes with a question mark, as if to say, "What are you thinking?"
If you just assume there's a question mark there, not everyone's always going to understand. You shouldn't assume things.
No, you're right.
Because I took that.
Dante.
I took that
Dante,
as
you are not stealing this vehicle.
I will also remind Dante he did tell you had free pass to come and go because you told him you might need a place to stay. So you guys getting let in isn't as
no, that's fair.
you know what I mean? I will like the gate knows to just let you guys in if you need a place.
Well, he said we can come and go as we please. So.
Yes, that does not include with one of the vehicles he is currently working on.
And why did you say yes?
I said yes with a question.
See, look, you need to work on your communication here, E.G.
You know what, Dante? At this point, I would much rather be talking to the other version of you. Oh, suddenly someone's a little bit quiet, are they? Right.
Wait till tomorrow.
Stay with me. Don't wander off, and Ichi's gonna go wander like around.
Again, he's just going to wander off.
He's gonna wander to the workshop kind of bits. It's just gonna check in reception, see if we can get a hold of what's his name? Where's my notes?
Bagheera.
The builder's called Bob.
No,
Thaddeus.
Bob, thank you.
Thaddeus Glass. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and find any kind of reception employee, anyone.
Well, there's not really reception. There are a few employees around the main house, and you sort of get their attention and so, and then it's a tabaxi. They look like they're dressed for gardening. They've got sort of protective boots and like overalls that go all the way down and tuck into the wellies, and they're sort of kneeling at the moment, ripping out weeds from around the shrubs that sort of make the edges of the fencing.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Yes, they just continue pulling, but
I don't suppose you know where Thaddeus Glass is. We are in need of conversation.
I saw them leaving this morning, but it's going to. I don't know, but it looked important. The whole shebang went out. Investors and all. I don't know what it was for, but
okay.
I would assume up towards the bastion, maybe.
Of course. Thank you very much. Right. We'll kind of turn to Dante.
And Dante is not there. I'd say you look left and right. You're in that section of the very, very back of the house glass estate. There's a few, there's a few warehouses out here. There's like this strip left and right, nowhere to be seen that way. You're not far from the warehouse you were just in.
Eechie slowly starts walking back towards the warehouse, muttering to themselves, I swear if that vehicle is not there, then Tenebris is coming out today.
And as you arrive, you would see sat in the cockpit at the back of the warehouse. Dante is just sat, waiting for you to arrive.
Can you remind me what your title is again?
Currently, babysitter, adult of the group, someone who's getting very pissed off with someone who is so old as you are and yet cannot simply communicate and follow direction.
You're the one we had issues with communication. You said yes. And if you're saying babysitting, do you leave babies unattended? Because you just walked off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought someone who's over 500 years old could listen to me when I said, right, stay by me, don't wander off.
Look, I know I've had a stressful time, but I don't think I look over 500.
Dante, I understand that you're trying to put a light-hearted spin onto all of this, but this is serious.
I know, this is our car.
No, it's not. Get out.
Just gets up.
Okay.
We're going to take the one that we already have. We cannot put ourselves in bad standing with the one family who at this point is happy to back us.
I agree. That was why I didn't understand you saying yes to take the car.
No, I was saying yes as in like, what are you thinking?
Look, let's go. Let's go.
Okay. And getting back, you would be able to leave a note if you want, or if you want to leave any sort of message.
We'll write down on a parchment and kind of like leave it attached to the vehicle, just saying, chaotic embers looking to chaotic embers would like to have a conversation about possibly having access to this vehicle for a longer period of time. Please get in contact when you can. Best wishes, Eechie.
P.S. Preferably before 6 o'clock this evening.
To be fair, he has obviously said that once it's fixed, he more just said he needed to clear it with his sister and not,
this is more just a note to kind of like let them know that this is something like sooner rather than later, rather than for sure.
Preferably today.
But I would say
you've got at least until tomorrow until you need to leave.
No, but we were going to use it to come down, and I thought that it'd be a good thing to have potentially.
Yeah, but we've got a
run away.
Yeah.
We've got a vehicle that your steed can go faster than.
Yeah, so my steed can go faster than that.
I know, but at least that one's a little bit faster.
By hardly any.
I'll say as you start making your way down from the Zenith Ward, and I assume down towards the Crucible to leave a message for Sir Arthur at the Bloody Banner.
Yes.
Can you give me a new stealth, as I assume you are still trying to avoid any detection as you drive your way down, Dante?
Ooh. 14.
Okay. I'll leave as you start making your way down. And with that, I will flick back over to Volu and Eleni, currently disguised as a cleaner. And they sort of go, yeah, all right. And then you sort of turn and you start making your way, and they go like, what are you doing? You sort of turn around like, They're like holding a hand out, but not to Volu, to the Eleni, and you would get from your inside. They're like, I want whatever half of whatever they're giving you to like do this, right? Like they're in on it.
I would sort of like sigh, like roll my eyes, and then I'd sort of turn away so that I can stick my hand in my actual pouch, hopefully without them seeing, and but sort of almost like, oh, like, and then come back, and I would give them 1 gold.
Okay. They take the gold, like give like again disappear it and give Volu like a look before returning to the bathtub, and you guys are able to go through and enter there is only one door that sort of goes to that front bed like area where that the window was right above the front door. So you make your way down the corridor. Again, you hear some different noise from one of the doors. Sounds like like the fluffing of sheets and things like that. And make your way into the bedroom. As you enter, it is a mess. There are clothes all over, but in a fashion that looks like somebody got ready and couldn't decide. Like all by the mirror. The wardrobe that you saw from the outside is fully open, and the inside doors are 2 large mirrors.
But it's definitely the right wardrobe. We're definitely in the right house.
As Volu sees it, definitely the same wardrobe. You recognize the decor in the bedroom. But yeah, it looks like somebody got dressed and changed in front of the open wardrobe. The bed's a mess. There are drinks and bits of food trays all over. The party definitely spilled into here at points. What would you like to do?
So I'm gonna sort of look at Volu and say, we need to do this quick. And I would.
I'd just slightly push the door so it's more close. People can't see what we're doing, and then.
Okay.
Can I detect magic?
Give it a go. Yeah, hit detect magic. Volu, anything you're doing while you see Eleni starting to weave her spell?
I'll start ruffling through the clothes.
Okay, so roll. Can now both of you, either one of you aiding or both of you roll, give me investigations.
Should we both do it, or do you want to?
You're both pretty good at it.
Yeah. Should we do it each? Maybe
yeah.
you guidance yourself as well.
Yeah. So where are we?
Okay. So that was an 11 for me. But yeah, is anything glowy, Liam, from the detect magic?
1 moment, sorry, I'm gonna wait for. Almost because you're doing this at the same time. I'm gonna see what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're doing perception, right?
Investigation.
Investigation.
Oh, investigation. Okay. Where is my default? 18.
Okay, so you start scanning over the room. Straight to the clothes, start moving a few things, looking through. You're not seeing anything glowing. You pick out in the wardrobe, there is a glow, but as you get a bit closer, it seems like it's a comb. And it's like a very nice, almost jade and maybe some sort of bone decorative comb that has a soft glow of conjuration.
Ooh.
But no glow in any of the clothes pile. You sort of start to spread out a little bit. And Volu, you like moving some of the things. You find a few other bits of clothes around the room that have been scattered and moved. And Volu, you look in and you find a few that maybe like there's a few outfits that have intricate decorative weaving on the outside of them. and you're sort of putting them out. And as you sort of finding each of the pieces and putting them out, Eleni, you sort of checking them over, and you do find one that along the pocket lining, it's almost like an entirely black, almost knee-length shawl. It's almost like a warm weather long outerwear, if that makes sense. So you'd wear it over the
Like a
top of your
long
dress.
cardigan or
Yeah, with all with holes and all those sorts of
Yeah.
things. But there's some areas around the edges that have been decorated with a different colouring, and you notice the glow along those.
Okay, I would call Volu over and show him. Does this look like the same thread?
You take a look, and it's not the same colouring, and that's sort of why you sort of missed it. But I'd say now that you're looking, you almost start to like unpick like you did with the other piece, and the same sort of dusty ash material sort of falls out of in between the twinings. That would confirm it for you.
Yeah, that's the one. So whoever lives here either hasn't been infected or doesn't know that is in this shawl.
But I suppose both you and the woman who got infected,
Gertrude.
Thank you. I had a G in my head, I just couldn't find the rest of the name. Both you and Gertrude started to have problems when you started to actually weave with the thread. If you'd have just carried that thread around for a bit, I don't know if it would have.
So I think you would
it's
remember what you learned is that in its raw form it doesn't do a lot, but when it's been weaved with, that's almost the activation process. So theoretically, and the fact you can see magic on it, theoretically it's active.
But then I suppose what's in my head is it acted on the person weaving with it. If somebody had then picked up the tapestry afterwards, just because this person's wearing a coat that happens to have the thread on a
Both
pocket.
of you give me arcanas. Eleni, is any of your advantage stuff to do with extraplanary?
Don't think it is. Primeval awareness, so that's just creature's location.
Yeah, but it's not like your hunters, not your favoured foe bonuses for having advantage on knowing things about them.
That's favoured enemy, and it's humanoids and fiends. So it is fiends from the lower planes, that side, but it's not.
Okay, I'll say that you could apply it here.
Oh, okay. So advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what am I rolling, Liam?
Arcana.
Arcana. So that is a 15.
And
19.
Okay.
That's like 19, not 9.
Yeah. No, I got you. So Eleni, you're thinking, and the first sort of thought that Eleni has is that a lot of magical items, like you can't really just like enchant the thread. Once you've done it, once you've made it into an item, it tends to permeate the item, and that and like your coat or like any other item you guys pick up, sometimes they need a tuning to. Sometimes you actually need to use it in the way so like you can't wear a headband of intellect up your arm.
Yeah.
You have like in a lot of cases, you wouldn't just hold it and like boom, I'm intelligent. You have to put it on, right? There's some of those items. So that's where you're sort of thinking. And then Volu, you sort of think, well, tapestries are supposed to be looked at, and you were supposed to show them. Like you were supposed to when they announced the winners and like showed them to the audience when you were finished. You never got to that stage of like using the tapestry for its purpose. If that makes sense.
So do you think she's ever worn this? I mean, maybe somebody weaved it and then gave it to her and it's just been stuck in a wardrobe.
people were watching me and Gertrude as we were weaving, weren't they?
Either way, do we want to leave this here?
I'm not sure we should leave the thread. Maybe we could detach the thread and put the coat back.
Let's see how easy it would be to do that. If it's going to be really difficult, then I think we
I
should
would
take the
also
whole
say,
coat out.
you think about time as you're sort of taking a look.
Yeah.
You do hear the downstairs door close as he would have returned, and as soon
Right.
you're not there anymore, so shut the door.
I could unpicking it shouldn't take too long, like with my weaver's tools.
What I
How
normally
much
know,
thread?
but what you will remember from when you tried to do it with the tapestry is this is almost magically reinforced because it's a magical item, right? So if you remember from the thread, from when you did it in the tapestry with the help of the priest, it did take you quite a bit of time to you were almost having to take your time and
Yeah.
Let's just go out the window. Let's go out onto the balcony. We can even just chuck the coat out there and walk back through the house if you want.
How about I go through the window and you go through the house?
Yeah, but I think let's take the coat. Let's not mess about.
I'll put the coat on and jump out, kind of get out the window.
Okay, and then
Yeah, so
I'll head out the bedroom as if I've been cleaning.
Okay, Eleni,
Mhm.
roll me a d100.
Damn.
And
Okay.
Volu, you head to the window, and the window does have a latch. Don't tell me your d100 just yet, Eleni. Hold that thought. Volu, you head to the window. It has the latch that you saw previously. That from this side, it's just obviously to undo it. You hoist up, and you can see it's not far, but it's a little bit of a jump to down to the ledge, and you jump down. As you land, you haven't been seen yet, but you see on the porch, the 2 houses that way, the feet of the grumpy old dwarf that's still just stood on his porch watching where you went in.
I did think this when we were doing it. I was like, Steve just watched us do all that.
Mhm.
So as I land.
So you sort of you know that you can see his feet, so he can't currently see you, if that makes sense.
Oh.
So you've got a moment to either obviously go for it, reveal yourself, and do something else, or try and drop it stealthy.
Let's say I'm gonna try and is there anything to hide behind on the porch of this?
You know from here, if you dropped prone, he won't be able to see you. But there's nothing to hide behind as such. You could attempt to try and stealth down the backside of the porch, but that will require a stealth and a climb, as it's it's like an actual.
Yeah, I climb round and then I'll try and land prone.
Okay, so give me a stealth as you land softly and have to hit the deck. Hey Lenny, as Volu's doing that, what is your
I'm gonna try and guide myself doing that as well.
Okay.
So when we first were speaking to that guy, they were cleaning in the front near the door, weren't they? They had So I'm just gonna come out and sort of walk back down the stairs and just head back down into the main foyer or that main area where the party was.
And what was your d100?
63.
Okay. As you head down into the foyer, you hear some chatter and recognize the voice from the room that was having the glasses done. And you sort of hear them saying okay, good, let me help you with this table. And you sort of hear them start to 1, 3, and start to lift the table. Give me a stealth as you move to the edge. They're almost, if you imagine, there's multiple smaller tables that have been moved into the center for some larger food thing, and they're moving the table. So there's one of them facing you, and then they turn, and
Yeah.
you're like,
That's a 21.
you peek the door and manage to duck back as the person you are currently disguised as is like standing with the lift.
Yeah.
And you sort of give it a pause as you can hear them go like, okay, this way, and then move across, and you manage to dart to the door and step out.
Okay.
As you step out, you look to your left and right. There's no Volu, but there is a grumpy-looking dwarf on his porch, just eyeing. And he's just like,
I would nod at him.
You're right there.
Go, head back. I'm gonna sort of almost step back into the room, drop the disguised self, and then almost like stumble out as if I've been pushed and pull the door behind me.
Oh,
So I'm gonna sort of almost as if someone's looked and gone right out and.
So again, either deception or performance, and I'm going to give you advantage because I like the play. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go. I mean, it's a +1 either way, right? So. Please. Ooh, 16.
Okay, so you like jump forwards and manage like a bit of a stumble, even
Yeah.
as you like what you're doing is you obviously you like stumble out and.
I'm gonna stumble out and sort of obviously not fall, but sort of stand up and be like, and then look at the dwarf almost like nothing happened. Like like when a cat falls over and then just pulls himself up, like it was completely planned and there was and if I'm not seeing Volu, I'll then scowl at the dwarf. So there's going to be a sort of, what are you looking at? And then I will, I suppose, head towards, to leave the courtyard, but I'm taking my time about it.
Okay, and I'll say that like,
because I don't know if he's gone out already, so I'm not sure
no, and I'll say that they do sort of they return to their seat at the porch, so they're not like stood to the ready. Volu, you would see the feet sort of like you would hear the sort of the footsteps sort of moving away, and that rocking chair sound as there's like the sitting down noise. And you would then get a peek of Eleni sort of making their way slowly towards the exit of the courtyard.
Okay. Yeah, I did already roll, didn't I?
You did.
I got an 8.
Okay.
That was with guidance.
Jeez. Okay, so like I'd say that the kerfuffle of everything, he's still watching, but I think the kerfuffle of them. See, I genuinely liked the maneuver that if you don't have inspiration, throw yourself an inspiration.
I do already have it, which yeah.
I think he's holding on to it. It's
not often I get inspiration. I'm
honestly,
hanging
you guys
on
have been doing some really fun things recently. And
maybe I probably should have used mine.
But Volu, I think you see an opportunity. I'd say that you could either go slow for no. Basically, it's a roll either way. You're either going quickly and trying to hold stealth with an athletics, or even an acrobatics, as you're just trying to like drop from the small porch and like roll out of it. Or you can go slow for no roll to get down because it's fairly easy handholds, but you will need a new stealth.
Okay.
I'll leave that one up to you.
Okay. I'm gonna try and go for some acrobatics.
Okay.
That face says it all.
Eight.
Jesus. 2 again.
No, that time, the past 2 times were both 6 plus 2.
Can I ask? Because if Eleni gets to the outside of the courtyard,
I'm literally just gonna go.
You're not getting that
next
far.
to her.
I was gonna say.
You don't get you like not next to them. You're maybe halfway between the porch and the gate, when there is just and Volu just lands face down. The cloak almost like the cloak's almost trailing slower after him, and it just covers him over, so he just looks like a small pile of leaves that have just appeared from nowhere. The dwarf does stand up again and like.
as he stands up, I'm going to turn and walk back towards him really quickly. And I am quite big, right? So I am sort of going to walk right up to him and go, "Did you look at me funny for a reason then?" Just to try and...
Give me an intimidation. Volu, what are you doing while, again, this moment of distraction?
Oh, fuck. 4.
I'm on the floor like my knee going.
Yeah, as this shambles, he just goes, "I'm calling the guard," and then he like heads inside, and
As he
starts
goes
going.
inside, I'm going to be like, "Good, call the guard, because you're really suspicious, mate." And I'm looking at like, fucking move, like, and then I'm gonna and head out.
Very easily.
I'm gonna like run after.
It was a very
Right.
successful
Up
entry.
until the end.
The exit needed work. That was good. You guys managed to book it down the street. And where do you want to head now? Obviously, you've located. Once you get far enough
We were
away,
supposed to be buying food.
So obviously, I'd say that by the time you like book it away and get to the end of the street, suitable distance where you know you're not going to be spotted. Volu's belly gives a rumble. Do you want to sort of again? You almost know if the guys are going to the Bloody Banner, that's next to the market and such for food anyway.
Yeah.
Or you can go to somewhere you're quite near the Rusty Bucket if you wanted to pop into there.
I think I'd rather get down to the market now. I don't want to get caught nearby, just in case.
Yeah, Volu's just still wearing the shawl.
But let's
I
take...
put my hands in the pockets and like just twirl it, going, "This feels nice."
Yeah, I'm gonna help him take it off, and I'm gonna roll it up. I'm gonna roll it up inside out so that it's like the lining that's showing, not the outside of it. And I'm gonna roll it up quite tight and put it in one of our backpacks, like whatever, wherever that'll fit. And I'm just like, I don't like you wearing that with the thread on it. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I guess you're right.
Maybe when the thread's off it, you can wear it then.
Let's get some food.
Let's get some food.
Okay, you begin to make your way down to the market. I'd say by this time, I flick over back towards Dante and Eechie. You guys are basically most of the way down there. This time you have been spotted a few times. There's been a few moments where you've had to actively lose people. Not huge crowds, but just the occasional person that sees the ginger hair flying behind the vehicles. They're like, "Oh, that was the Chaotic Embers." And obviously, having seen the jump the other day, word has gotten around that the Chaotic Embers are just driving around doing stunts sometimes. You might just see them.
Yeah.
And there are a few times, but with the 14, you do manage to shift them and lose them when necessary. Before
I don't want to do another stunt now.
Before making your way down and getting towards the Crucible and the Bloody Banner. Thinking of stealth, it's up to you guys. You either want to take the long way round, avoiding the open grass area, which now that the festival is over, is now returned to just an open grass area, or ditch the vehicle, as in like park it somewhere and walk across, because there are still people moving through the market. You could fairly easily.
We'll go the long way because it's always good to have your vehicle close.
Okay. You make the long way round before pulling up at the fairly busy Bloody Banner, but you can see that the busyness is a lot of wagons preparing to leave. You can see that there's a number of stable hands brushing down and cleaning horses, sort of fitting the different saddles or bridles and stuff like that. Feed, they're sort of packing up the different wagons. You can see all the drivers that have probably just been chilling and enjoying themselves return to work.
So because we told everyone we were in here as well, didn't we?
You did, but it has also been
It's been a couple days.
4 or 5 days of people because you put out the secret before the race happened, is what I mean. So there's been a number of days of people coming here to find you and being told that you've not been here. You left. So I'd say by now you can be careful if you want, and there might still be people who are like, maybe they might show up again. But you essentially have not frequented this place the entire time of the festival. So you're fairly safe. But if you still want to...
I will still just, park my little car, just put it into a nice place, reverse park, kind of go.
Yeah, you put it, and again, because a lot of the wagons are preparing to leave, the space in the place, the areas where they'd hitch up for a while, and you are able to jump out.
Dante just leans to Eechie. So are we just leaving the guy a message?
Pretty much, yes.
Do we know if he's here now or will he be here later?
I don't know until we walk in. If he is in, I'll talk to him in person. If he's not, I'll leave a note for him.
And you want me to join?
I don't see why not.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Thank you for being considerate for the first time today.
Sorry, did you mean something else by that? Gets out of the car.
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, Eechie steps out and walks into the bloody banner.
Okay, so
Just opens the doors like Western kind of style.
you open up the doors and the room, it seems fairly, it's not super busy, but it's fairly packed. And again, there's a lot of movement of just people getting things ready. There's things being brought down from rooms that are being ready to be loaded. And you can see there's a few different groups that are drinking and eating. As you enter though, I'd say Eechie, you don't immediately see them, but you hear the voice that you recognize as Arthur Grant, sort of laughing and saying, "Pass me another piece of bread." And it seems like it's coming from one of the booths just round the corner. You see again the central bar, and as you enter, they sort of nod and say, "Don't mind all the stuff. We have rooms and food if you're looking for it." And they're sort of motioning for you to come on in.
Ichi will wander towards the sound of Sir Arthur's voice.
Okay.
Dante follows behind him with his general happy face.
So as you round the corner, you would see Sir Arthur currently sat at a round table. Their armor is literally like hanging on their chair to their side, like their top breastplate. They're still wearing the sort of greaves, and it looks like if you had to guess, they arrived in the last hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
There's still the dust on them from the desert. And they're sat around a table with 3 much cleaner individuals that you imagine got here either earlier or maybe he was pulling up the rear or something. That you get in that feel. They are in full dress down. They're in the like underclothes essentially. And you would see a human male, looks to be about 19. They seem very tall, even in their sat down position. They have cropped dark hair, and they seem to be like holding a very serious expression in all the like laughter and jovialness at the table currently. You can see that their skin has almost like an ashen hue across the neck and face that sort of covers up to about half the face and over the eye. And I'd say that Dante, both of you have been close enough to burn scars to recognize them. You would see the starts of what looks to be a much larger burn down the back.
Of who?
The human 19-year-old male. They're sort of sat to the left of Sarata. Sat to the right of Sarata is a fairly well-built dwarven female. Looks quite young, but also they've got you see sort of the marks on the hands that sort of give the signs that maybe they smithed or crafted in some way. There's those not battle wounds, but you see there's the calloused fingers and rough edges. They have auburn hair that is tied in a tight braid. Her face is crisscrossed with large scars that run from left temple over the cheek and down to the jawline. As you're sort of moving round, and Sarata they're all looking at him, and he obviously looks up and sees you. As he's going, Eechie, join me. I was just, and they turn. You see all of her scars glimmer with like a silvery reflection through them, almost as if there's like silver inlined into the scars. And as her eyes meet yours, Ichi, you see like striking steel grey, watching with like almost scanning you. You would get that passive insight would pick up almost like immediate danger. Like even though the call was friendly and jovial, that surprise of I didn't know who was there. They lock eyes with you with like at first scanning like almost a fear level, and then relax again. And
she's in like threat assessment mode kind of thing.
You would gather that. Before she does calm and sort of shrugs themselves off, and finally sort of sat with their back to you as they sort of like turn in the chair. You would see a half orc, looks again to be maybe late 20s. Very large, even by half orc standards, powerful frame. They're green skin, but as they turn to you, their face is almost marked with webbing style scars that seem to give off a purplish blue tinge as they turn to look at you. The left tusk is entirely like almost, it's like a stub, as it looks like it's been sawn clean. And the right one is very like torn and jagged. It's like it was long damage that they weren't able to repair. As they sort of as you sort of see this group, they're all just sort of eating breakfast. So Arthur says, join us. I have just returned, and I am meeting up with my squires and my group. Our other knight, Delrond, is not here at the moment, but if you would please join us. As you how do you react to this? I don't want to assume your approach.
Seeing like the colors and everything of like the silver and the purples on the two individuals, there is an aspect of like confusion, because obviously like I'm guessing Ichi's never seen anyone with those kind of like textures in their skin on scars and such.
Other than the only one that's familiar is the burns.
Yeah.
As you sort of approach with that sort of reverence and sort of giving the curious looks to the others, they do forgive me, the half orc closest to you, that is tied, and they extend a hand. You would see so the half orc extends a hand out towards you, and you would see webbed fingers as they sort of reach out with a hand to shake your hand. This one over here is Renna, pointing at the dwarf, and that's Wrenna.
Cool.
Tide is literally like the tide.
Tide, T-I-D-E.
Yeah, there's no odd spelling there. And then they and this young one's Ash. And as the human fully turns again, Dante, they have similar scarring to you, but whereas yours has come up as scars, their skin is almost ash color. and black and almost peppercorned through as they turn and look. And again, it runs that same sort of down the face and down the shoulder and arm. But you also saw the burns on the back that did look more like burns over whatever that is. Again, the half-orc sort of gives you a grin and says, welcome, it is nice to meet you. And they still sort of extend the hand.
Yeah, Eechie will kind of like shake. Oh, hello, I'm Eechie, as Sir Arthur said.
The Renner will sort of, you see the dwarf, they relax a little bit, say, it is good to meet another knight of the order. I assume that this is your squire, and they sort of look over towards Dante.
I mean, at this point, he might as well be, but no, this is my companion, Dante.
As you sort of, Arthur sort of clasps her on the shoulder, says, Ichi here, unfortunately, did not, though he stands as a knight, as you see, did not finish his anointments. You would see almost like sad, but like almost in companionship, as the three squires almost look a little like that, like how it would feel to be stuck a squire with, you know, that sort of thing, as the sort of you would see the human gives a more quizzical look to try, or maybe trying to ponder about how, maybe where your master is, etc. But the orc just sort of again, the hand says, I'm so sorry to hear that. Come, join us. They sort of like motion for you to take a seat. Again, Dante, they don't seem to be reacting in any way, but they have just sort of assumed, even with the dismissal of Squire, they're not like reacting oddly to you now. It's almost passed over due to the...
No, that's fine.
Ichi will, pull up a chair. Well, two chairs, one for themselves and one for Dante. How did your mission outside of the city go?
Well, but it was long. The Zorn, there was a lot of them actually, and moving quite erratically. I'll be honest, I thought I was going to get some rest, but we are, from what I hear from my squires, more Zorn were spotted in the crevasse near the city.
Yes, part of the reason I wanted to come see you so urgently is that we kind of ran into them. We were taking part in the Doom Hakra race, just as a light part of revelry while we were in the city, and while we were in the crevasse, there was Zorn and a golem that seemed to attack. And Ichi will pull out their notebook and kind of like flick to the page of like the sigils that were over them, over the golem. The golem seemed to have these.
As you're doing and starting, the orc is sort of has been getting a plate together and is just sort of putting it in front of you, and doing the same with Dante's. They're just sort of getting you food and putting it down for you.
Dante's just kind of sat there quietly, just kind of eyeing up the situation. He's a little bit awkward.
And sorry, continue. Like they're almost doing this around you as you're doing your thing.
It seems that the golem itself had these kind of sigils marked over it. They seem Lyrixan in Origins, but it just seemed quite confusing as to what the purpose of them were. As they all came to almost evacuate from another cave within the crevasse. To the point in which I believe the Zorn themselves were almost fearful of the golem.
Interesting. Something that the Zorn's fear would be...
I'll lean over to just Ichi and just low voice, but obviously I'm not stopping anyone else here. And the infection.
Yes, we've recently come across a infection within the city, which seems to be extraplanar in origins, but it seems to corrupt and infect whatever it comes in contact with, and can, as far as we are aware, only be cured in the process by magical fire, possibly elemental fire, more specifically.
Maybe some sort of a curse from another plane, maybe. Renna, during your duties today, you are to look into this. Any recent or historical evidence of infections from the other planes making their way through? And she should like immediately, yes, sir, and starts making a few notes.
If it would be okay, around 6 o'clock tonight, myself and my companions are going to be venturing back down to the cave in the crevasse. We would very much enjoy it if you were to accompany us, as there are some other aspects which we would like to converse with you about.
As he sort of sits back and thinking again, his eyes sort of flick up over you, and he goes, "Ah, Delmont, come meet. This is the young knight, the young squire. Basically, knight. We should sort that Eechie. Shouldn't be that much of an issue. We would need to be back in the." And as you sort of turn, he's just sort of blabbering away, and you would see approaching behind, wearing Watcher armor. You would note Eechie. It's old. It's almost the same sort of design as your Master Bruce had. So you think from his era of, because again, every sort of, they make modifications, they make improvements, they make changes. So there is differences through the ages of what, and again, what you were fighting. If you're fighting something that like spews molten lava, the whole armor shit doesn't matter, and you go light armor to, but you would notice that it looks to be sort of from your master's generation. And you would see a human with a nice, so it looks like a scruffy beard, but it's been nicely sort of cleaned and shaven up and neatened up. But it's still like quite unkept and rugged where they've left it. Tanned olive skin. You would see they sort of they are human. They walk in their armor, and seeing the group, you'd see that they see Eechie and like almost interestingly sort of give you a smirk and say, "Found a new friend, have we, Arta?" And they look over to Dante.
This is the guy from the thing, isn't it? From the tower.
Dante.
Dante. I mean,
do you think? Well, I'll leave it to you, because as you're looking at them, they don't look or give you the same feel. When you saw the glimmer of the locking eyes, they were almost a dark black with a golden ring around them that was almost like piercing. This guy has like light blue, greeny eyes.
That's the case, because Dante didn't hear the name. Chris heard the name. Dante didn't hear them say Del whatever. Del boy.
Delrond.
That's it.
And they Dante, you can give me an insight rolled rather than passive, as their eyes linger on you for a moment, as they are sort of just going in, and this is...
It's the same.
Arta goes to introduce and goes, "Oh, my apologies, friend. How rude of us. We didn't get your name."
My name is Dante Vickhausen. Nice to meet you all.
Dante Vickhausen, associate and companion of our Squire Eechie here. Again, the second he gets the name, the eyes flip back and he sort of grins and say, "Ty, don't save me some food, please. Come on, move over." And they sort of usher, and again, the squires start getting food ready and preparing it and setting him a plate. As he's sitting down, Arta says, "They were just talking about maybe venturing down into the crevasse. I told you the guards have reported someone down there. Also mentioned of a golem. The guards didn't mention that one, but sometimes they don't mention things that aren't obviously extra planar. Although I think interesting that the zone were running from it, maybe some sort of weapon. And I almost in time, but just after, an Eechie, and actually I think you'd both catch it because you're more that end of the table. As Arta says some kind of weapon, Delrond says some kind of threat, as they sort of like, almost like pondering it. You're sort of muttering to themselves more than saying it. I was thinking about joining them. Would you like to come with? And Darren goes, me and the squires have some business within the city there is still the matter of payment for the zone now that you have returned with confirmation. Says, yes, the Delron here is. I would forget all of the important things. He was a noble before all of this. As he's talking, he says, "Arthur, you talk too much. It has been a long morning already. I might retire with my food." You would see that Tide would stand with him and sort of say, "Shall I prepare for us to head out?" So, yes, prepare my ceremonial armor. We will be meeting with the Prime Minister today. Settle our dues. And then he sort of turns to each Dante and Eechie, gives a quick bow. It was a pleasure to meet you both.
And yourself. Hopefully we do again in a more relaxing time.
They nod. And to the others, they say, "I will see you later, Sir Arthur." You would see to Sir Arthur, he gives a swift but ceremonial salute of the arm to the chest. The Ichi, you get the feeling, even though Sir Arthur definitely gave you younger vibes in the armor design and the way he acts and everything, that's definitely showing a seniority of Arthur runs this little outfit or this squad, as it were. Or is at least in charge for the moment. Because again, Bruce did tell you about times that knights from other chapters would go out to help, and you de facto under their leader, right? Whether you're higher or not, you don't just step into another. It's not good etiquette to step into another person's chapter and start trying to order people around, even if you are of higher rank. But you get the feeling that right now, for the very least, Arthur is in charge. And then they both Tide and Daron will head out holding their plates. As they're going, Tide will again extend a hand and almost grasping at your hand, Ichi, before you even offer it, almost, as they really good to meet you. And we should talk sometime. When they're resting, sometimes the squires go out. We might be in the city a few days, so we can let you know.
Yeah, if once all of this is done, perhaps I think we might be planning on heading out quite soon after once this is done. But yeah, if there is a little bit of time, I'm sure I would love to.
Right, great. And again, he says a hand out to Dante, and you would see that there is no flicker of look towards your scars. They're unfazed as they just extend a hand, smiling. Nice to meet you, Dante. And you try and give him the lackluster, and he grips the other side and gives your hand a shake. And then Delron was tired. Come on. And then sorry, sir. Yes. See you later, guys. And then he sort of heads on him.
We did see in the world, maybe Delrond is as common as the name Chris, but he did have someone with him, didn't he? Which now could sound like a squire,
but not anyone that you recognise.
Okay.
The other person, and Dante, I will give you this.
I'm not, to be honest, I'm not sure how much Dante actually saw.
I will say you won't know race, but because of their size, they were definitely of the smaller races, because they were a lot smaller.
I thought
of the level of, it was either a child or it was one of the other races, that level of size difference, right? They're definitely not here. As everyone here looks quite well built and all looks like they train, this look definitely more scholarly vibe than any of these guys. And Delron would leave. Arthur would say, so yes, you were saying 6 p.m.
6 p.m. in the crevasse, just in the basin of it all. That's when we are going to be attending.
There are still some guards assigned down there, so it shouldn't be too hard to get down there. We'll head down. We'll find the captain that's running the situation, and we can meet you there before we head any further. It might only be me and Ash, but I'm sure we'll suffice.
That should be absolutely fine. Thank you very much. And like I say, when we are down there, we do have a slightly more personal thing to talk to you about as well, but we'll get to that when it comes.
Until then, my friends, I've got sand inside my Under Armour. I need to get rid of it.
No,
And he
of
sort
course.
of walks away. You would see Ash gets up and goes with, and Renna would sort of take a few more bites. You would see that they definitely give Dante more stares than Eechie. There's almost like but I would say that from what you gather from your passives, it's almost like Ichi is an image she recognizes, right? Like she knows what the knights look like. She knows they're safe. That you're an unknown. It's that sort of vibe more than it is like I know what you are, right? It doesn't give you like, that sort of. It's just like I don't know what the fuck you are, and they definitely just eat a few more things and then go. Well, I have some research to do. Master Ichi, I do hope you take us up on our offer.
I would certainly do my best. Thank you.
They don't offer a hand to either of you, but they do sort of like
the nod, yeah.
And then they will head out. Again, as they pass, there is the shimmer of the scars.
As the table is cleared and everyone's gone, there's just this sigh of relief from Ichi of, whew, that went a lot better than I thought it was going to. That was exciting. Like we meeting the other squires as well.
Why did you not think it would go well?
Well, it was not necessarily that it wouldn't go well, just more that I would fumble. I can talk the talk when I want to, but these are people who know what they're doing, and like Sir Arthur is a full knight, and I'm still a squire, and there's an aspect of meeting other squires and having them look at me with disappointment when they know that, well, when they see that I'm still a squire. It was my first time kind of meeting other people who were on my level, so I was anxious.
That is understandable. You did well.
Thank you. And yeah, so Sir Arthur and Ash might be there tonight, which would be nice. A little bit more reinforcement to obviously investigate what the Zorn and the Golem were doing. And
I mean, I didn't know we were actually investigating anything. I thought we were just talking.
I mean, we are preliminary, like we are mainly talking, but also that was an issue. Like I have said that it was weird. You're more than welcome to not join me for that aspect, but
I'll be down there, so.
Yes, but you don't have to get involved in watch or work.
I know. But I will be there if needed. I'm just saying I was not aware we were also looking into it.
No, I think I had just assumed that, well, I was going to be doing that anyway.
Okay. And as we leave you guys there and flick over to Volu and Eleni, who now have secured. Volu's got one of everything from the street sellers. There's a nice little chicken pitta thing. You've got a few sausage on a sticks. Some cream pie things for afterwards. And Volu's now happy bunny. Eleni probably more conservative with food purchases.
I would have bought something to eat now while he's munching, but I've also bought maybe like a loaf of bread, like a chunk of cheese, maybe some dried meats, or things that we can snack on later to take back for the others.
I'll say if you both want to knock off 2 gold for like everything, that's all the things you're going to purchase food and drink wise today. But you would be able to make your way down and arrive at the market. I'd say straight away, Eleni, you can see that a lot of the stalls and sellers that were from deeper within the Zanagaev Desert are all like their carts and things are being brought to pack up, but they're still selling, right? They're still like
Yeah.
getting the most out of the light before they have to shut down fully. And you imagine that after tonight they will pack up. The bits where you've got your bread and cheese and things, that's just the permanent stalls that are always there. You do see as you're moving through a few armor stalls, and you definitely see that like you could pick up some basic stuff
Okay.
if you wanted.
I think what I'm looking for is, so I want a breastplate and I want something that's going to give me some protection, but it doesn't need to be shiny, you know, in your face. It needs to actually be quite subtle, something that won't catch somebody's eye. Because I'm going to be wearing it under my coat anyway. But that sort of, it doesn't have to be all shiny and polished and embellished or anything. It just needs to protect me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'd say that if it was something standard, you could definitely get it. If you want to have a quick look around and see if there's anything of the not necessarily fancy variety, but something that's definitely being, you know, because a lot of these things they are made, so they're priced, right? So even if that bit of armor doesn't look fancy, if it's priced at $1,000, it probably does something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that aspect of knowing how you've been in this market, you've been in the city a little bit.
I mean, if
So
it's
you can
priced at
both.
$1,000, I can't afford it anyway. But
No, but
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, that's just
yeah.
the example of, and I know Volu, you wanted to take a look for some diamonds.
Yes.
So if you want to give me an investigation, to how many? Because to be honest, I think just getting hold of like a standard 300 for a one soft revivify, I don't think that would require an investigation. More just going to each of the, you know, you need to go to each
Yeah,
of
I'll
them and
be
just
looking around and
get the thingy. If you want more than that, I would require an investigation. If you want
No.
like two doses of it, then that's when you're gonna have to maybe start looking for people.
I wouldn't be. I don't have that kind of money on me. But I do. So yeah, I'll just have to one. I'm hoping I don't have to revivify more than once, which is like the main aim.
Okay, so both of you investigations for your individual things.
Okey-doke. 14.
Investigation. What's my dirty 20?
Nice.
Okay, so Vola, you very easily. You do have to buy it in, you know, like 50 here, 50 there, but you will be able to knock off 300 gold and add. It is 300, I believe, right? For
Yeah.
Revivify. I've remembered.
Yeah.
Right. And Eleni, as you're looking around, there's the standard stuff, but you do pick up on a few of the sellers that are like leaving. They are like, you know, they're shouting out, "Well, we got this thing," and there's a few pieces that grab your attention. So one of them, at first, you're looking at it, and it looks like a black scale mail. Now, obviously, not what you're looking for at first, and as you sort of like, you know, thinking it jingles a bit and stuff. The seller sort of talks to you and says, if you look more like you favor range and stealth, well, this is actually crafted to shift and give advantage in natural areas. It can also blend with an environment for a time, and sort of mechanically, it counteract. You don't have no disadvantage, even though it's a scale mail. It counters out that, and if when you're in natural environments, deserts, forests, caves, those sorts of things,
Yeah.
you actually gain an advantage on stealth checks made.
Ooh. Okay.
However, you have to be standing still.
Okay.
Just like it literally sort of shifts, and he
That
sort
makes
of
sense.
runs. They run their like red cloak behind it, and you see it sort of takes on like a red, purpley hue that would. And once a day, you can turn invisible for a minute.
Oh, okay.
As the spell, so it's until
Yeah.
you do something. But
So I would say, yes, I'm going to be traveling, and I suspect I'm going to need to hunt to feed myself. So the more stealthy and the better camouflage, the better to be able to do that. I assume this is expensive, though.
They give you a look. Say, well, I need to sell it before I go. How could you could you meet me at 600?
Knock it down. Knock it down. Knock it down.
My persuasion is shit.
And I will say, with the investigation you did earlier, you did see a breastplate for an actual. So obviously, the things for Elaine to factor here, or for Mum to factor more, is even though the scale mail. So if you want to look at a scale mail,
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, but it's the new rules, and so yeah, this is the irritating thing, right? So
yeah, I've actually stopped going there, and I go to
no, this was to add. This was literally the manage inventory on my character sheet. Is if you were going to go and buy scale mail, it's now the 2024 rules, and so it doesn't say anything about disadvantage.
Okay, but so basically, it's actually exactly the same. So if you got this one, it is essentially 14 plus 2 on your dex.
Right.
So
try it out then. I'm just going to add it on and equip it and see what it does.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that does bump. So it does bump me to a 16, and it gives me a disadvantage on stealth, a standard scale mail, even though that's not in the description of the.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that because it's medium?
It's it's become literally everything above light except for breastplate. Breastplate is the only thing above a light armor that
that makes
doesn't
sense.
provide disadvantage.
Is that right?
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, there's more than that.
I mean, there might be some magic or homebrew things, but in terms of the standard, in terms of the standard, no, every other medium or heavy armor provides disadvantage.
I think in Eleni's head, it's like if this has advantages over just a standard breastplate, and if it's going to give the same, if it's not going to cause disadvantage and it's going to give the same basic protection, I think it's probably worth the extra money. In my head. And just because Dante likes to chat up these people.
No, this is Chris. Whenever he goes into like a market, you always try to be like, would you do it for 100?
Yeah, but Emma doesn't do that. that's not how Emma works either. So, as an insight, do I think this guy's trying to pull a fast one?
I was just saying the price they ask is the price they ask.
Yeah. You don't. I mean, there's definitely you can see that it's currently listed at 800. So they're not knocking crazy amounts off, but they did knock it down.
It's a quarter. I'm just going to shake his hand and say done.
Okay.
And I would hand over 600 gold.
So to be fair, it might be easier if you want to make that.
If you send me the details on Messenger, Liam, I'll create it. And I'll knock off the money.
And Volu, I'd say as you return to Eleni, there are, again, like you walk down this, there are people sort of shouting out. You would notice there's a few nice things in there in terms of there's a few magical items that people are trying to. Again, and from the last time you came down, you actually see the seller that had the sandstorm style shawl, that cloak that Eechie did take a little look at. That again, they're just trying to get rid of the last bits. You don't see some of the other things you were looking at left. But there are some potential grabs here that were made for the festival, and you imagine like they don't actually need that back home. That they needed the money that it would provide for the village. So there's some of that aspect. But as you two get back together, Volu with a fresh pouch of 300 diamond, And Eleni, as you sort of approach Volu, you would see that she's sort of being handed. It looks like at first it looks dull. It's almost like a dull black scale mail. But as she sort of reaches her hands under it, you would see the color sort of shift slowly to match the color of her sleeve and her fur. And as you root back up and Volu sees that, that is where we will end part 2 of this episode. Thank you very much for joining. As always, thank you very much for listening. If you are enjoying the adventures and you want to know when the next video is coming out, hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell. The notification bell.
Bing.
Ding. So you know when the next video is coming out. And as always, roll.